Ever since Apple announced the iPhone XR, people have been calling it the cheap or budget iPhone. However, the notion that a $749 phone is cheap is ridiculous. At the beginning, I was one of the people doubting the quality of this phone. In actuality, this phone is really an iPhone XS with a slightly different camera, build quality, and screen technology. The iPhone XR does have a lower pixel density than the iPhone 8 Plus. This is one of those decisions by Apple that at face value doesn't really make much sense. Why would a phone have a worse screen than a newer phone? Before I got the iPhone XR, I had been using the iPhone 8 Plus. I noticed zero difference in the quality of the screen. The iPhone XR actually seems slightly brighter than the 8 Plus. Now, why is this? Well, eventually pixel density on a phone doesn't actually matter. The quality of screen technology is much more important. Brightness, contrast, true blacks, color gamut, and just how sharp the display looks are much more important than actually how many pixels you can fit in a screen that's already Retina quality. To most people, the screen won't seem worse when compared to the 8 or 8 Plus, but it definitely will seem poor when compared to the 10 or 10S. That's because while the 10S has an AMOLED panel, this phone has an LCD screen. It's a decent screen, but things don't just pop as much as they do on the 10S. This phone doesn't have a second lens on the back of the phone, and you can only do a focus blur on people, not objects. I understand that a lot of people love taking photos, but rely on their phone. I'm one of those people. But to me, picture quality honestly doesn't matter that much as long as the pictures don't look like crap. Both phones take great pictures, and I'd imagine the average person won't be picking a phone based on the camera quality alone. The frame of the phone is made out of aluminum, unlike the 10S. It doesn't feel cheap by any means, but stainless steel definitely feels more durable. I will say the positive to having aluminum is that fingerprints don't show up as much on the sides of the phone. Size-wise, this phone is also the sweet spot for me. It's not too large that it's hard to operate like the 10S Max, and it's not too small either. This is also the only phone that comes in that form factor. Because of the fact that this phone uses an LCD panel and not an AMOLED screen, the bezels on this phone are slightly larger. I did notice it at first, but from day-to-day operation, I couldn't tell much of a difference. It's still a vastly improvement over the previous iPhone models. Some people like to compare this to the iPhone 5C. I honestly don't think that's a fair comparison. To me, it's like going from an iPhone 6 to an iPhone 6 Plus. It has slightly better specs, but costs more. The only difference is that the price to go from a 10R to a 10S is $250, and to go to the 10S Plus, that's another $100. $350 is a big price jump, especially compared to the discounted rates that Apple creates for previous generation phones. Plus, the iPhone XS comes in some really cool colors. I really like product red Apple devices because they're sharp and provide a small portion of money towards a good cause. The iPhone XS is not available in product red, at least not yet. If you don't care about a screen quality upgrade, don't care about titanium, and don't care about a slightly better camera, this is going to be a good choice for you. $250 is a big price difference. Unless you have the money to spend, I think the iPhone XR is going to be a good choice for most people. If you get Apple Care in a nice case, that's easily another $250. $1,250 or $1,350 is a lot of money to spend on a phone. Sure, other companies have expensive phones, but look at the OnePlus T. Think about how much you're paying just to get an iPhone XS. Think about how much more you're paying because you want an iPhone. So with that $250 you're saving, what could you do? You could upgrade your storage, which I would recommend. Get Apple Care in a nice case. A US company called iPulse reached out to me and actually sent me over one of their handcrafted leather cases. With every case that's purchased, a portion of revenue goes to supporting UNICEF. This specific case is their flip wallet with the vintage book style. I'm not a huge fan of the phone wallets, but I do think they can be convenient. I personally would prefer the black or red color. They run about $30 to $40. Considering they're handmade with leather, function as a wallet, and is made in the United States, and supports charity, I'm a fan of this brand. For those that are interested in this case, I'll have a link in the video description, and viewers can get 20% off when they use the promo code IPULSE20. In order to be successful, Apple needs to promote the XS without bashing the iPhone XR so much that neither phone ends up selling as well as they hope. The iPhone XS, XS Max, and XR share most of the features you want in an iPhone. Because of the color selection, device size, a much lower price tag with most of the same features, this is my iPhone choice for 2018. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. If you want to be notified when I upload, you can also hit the bell notification icon to get a notification about that. You can also follow me on my personal Twitter. I'll have the link to that in the video description. Follow me, twitter.com/Nels. And until next time, I hope you all have a wonderful day and catch you guys later. Peace.